Gaano kayo ka-comfortable sa word na sex?
At natanong na ba kayo ng mga anak nyo tungkol sa sex?
We're Juice and Love Coach. We're both marriage coaches and book authors about marriage and relationships.
And we are parents to two wonderful kids. And for today's video, we will react to Dr. Rica Cruz, sex and relationship therapist, as she answers all your questions about sex.
Sex education is only for girls and not for the boys. Totoo ba? Ay. Sex ed is for everyone. Alam nyo, itong pag-iisip na to na ang mga lalaki alam na nila about sex ay nakakasama pa sa kanila. In my practice, I saw that this narrative pressures a lot of men to learn about sex and to be more knowledgeable about it. And because they don't have proper sex education, where do they turn to? To porn. And the problem starts there. So maybe we should change this whole narrative and say that sex ed is for everyone. Everyone, regardless of age, regardless of gender, regardless of sexual orientation, regardless of social status. Sex ed is for everyone.
Kaya pala ang mga lalaki nagre-resort sila into porn kasi nga para ini-expect na ng society na alam na ng mga lalaki yan, pero it's for everyone. So talagang tayong mga parents, huwag tayong matakot na turuan both our daughters and our sons about sex para sa bahay pa lang alam na nila tungkol dito.
Kasi nga, I agree with Dr. It's not that men or boys know it already. It's because mas expressive about sex ang men kasi sa culture natin parang normal kapag ang men ay open sa sex. Kapag ang babae is talking about sex, parang bakit open sa sex yung babae? So it's good that for all ages, it's supposed to teach us about sex.
Sex education is not appropriate for young kids and should only be introduced to teenagers. Totoo ba? Well, hindi totoo yan. Sex education should start when education starts. And I believe that starts at home. When they're 2 years old, 3 years old, when they start learning about words and they start learning about their body parts. Sex ed na yun. And it's important that us parents, are the ones who teach our kids about sex. And the earlier that we teach them about sex, the earlier that we can teach them about respect, about consent, about boundaries, and it will be more comfortable for us as parents to guide them as they learn about their sexual selves as they grow older. So, sex ed is not just for teenagers, it's also for kids. And we should start teaching kids about sex as early as 3 years old. Sex education starts when education starts.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Ay nako, ako super agree ako sa sinabi ni Dr. Rica. Lalo na yung sinabi niya yung mga terms like respect, guide, being comfortable. Because bilang nanay, syempre ayaw mo naman matuto yung mga anak mo sa labas. And then magkaroon sa distortion sa concept nila. Kaya nga, di ba may mga mommies na binibigyan na ng code yung pangalan ng mga sensitive parts ng anak nila at ng babae or ng lalaki. And so, para sa akin, talagang tama nga na as early as 2 or 3 years old, explain mo na yung boundaries ng mga anak mo para alam nila, okay, sensitive part to, this will not be touched by any other people, and this is how I respect my body, and this is how I also appreciate my body parts. Kaya hindi pwede na sa teenagers lang natin ituro. Kaya tayong mga magulang, meron tayong responsibility to introduce how beautiful the body parts of our children are. Ikaw, bilang tatay, na may anak na babae at lalaki.
3 things ang naisip ko habang pinagiging ako si Doktora. Number 1, naisip ko yung childhood ko. Since hindi naman tinuro sa akin ng parents ko about sex, I started to learn sex in a different way. You look for it in the dark places. Doon mo siya hanapin ng patago. And number 2, kaya pala importante na ituro mo sa anak mo. Sabi nga niya, when they start learning or education starts, it begins, you start teaching about sex already. The problem is, at times, even the word sex, parang takot kang marinig ng anak mo. So, are you comfortable with the word sex? Again, it depends kasi on your context of sex. Now, kung naisip ko pala na, naisip ko bilang anak kong babae, can I imagine my daughter at 3 years old or 4 years old or 5 years old, when she learns or hears about sex, hindi siya maging, ay, sex yan, but rather, yeah, sex, it's a wonderful thing that my mom and dad does, kaya kami lumabas. So, mag-iiba pala. This week, nakita ko lang sa isang cartoons na princess, kiss sila nung prince. Parang ako agad, wow, bakit 3 years old? 3 years old pala yung anak ko. But the beauty pala is not to say, no, kasi if not, they'll find it's bad. Rather,
or they explore it more.
More on the other side, di ba? Bakit bad? Tapos hahanapin nila. Rather, it's our role to educate them. That's, buti lang sabi ko, it's a beautiful thing. That's what mama and papa does. What we need as parents, sa sabi ng doktora, is the guide on how we teach our kids. I think that's one thing na naisip ko, kailangan nating parents ng guide. How do we teach our kids about it?
At yung pinapanood ko nga sa Dr. Rica, isip ko, paano ko ba ituturo sa anak ko na hindi ako parang mako-awkwardan?
At saka right way, kasi iba baka ang isipin ng sex education is to tell them to do it or how to do it. Rather, it's really teaching them what sex is all about, how beautiful it is in the context of family life.
Consent only applies to unmarried or uncommitted couples. Totoo ba? Hoy! Naman! Hindi totoo yan. Consent applies to everyone, even those who are married and in committed relationships. Hindi porket kasal na kayo, ibig sabihin, pwede mo na lang pilitin ng asawa mo makipag-sex. It's not how it's supposed to be. That's not how it works. We still need to respect each other's boundaries and privacies, our moods and our desires. And you have to ask your partner if it's okay to do certain things sexually each time. Consent isn't valid forever. Okay? You have to ask each and every time, before, during, or after sex. And that's how you keep your love and respect for each other growing. By allowing each other, giving each other permission, and asking each other what we want in bed and in sex. Do not force your partners.
Alam mo, ano talaga yan along the way, mapag-uusapan ng mag-asawa on how you want to be touched.
Yeah.
How you also want to touch your husband or your spouse. Pero alam mo, masarap yung pag-usapan after. After kasi parang during, parang hirap doktora na pag-usapan pa yun, di ba?
Pwede kasi during, yung consent is, pwede ba sa part na to? Pwede bang hindi? Pwede ba tong position na ito? Pwede bang hindi? Di ba? It's a consent. What if ayaw, tapos biglang pinilit? Ay, wala na, nag-awin na silang dalawa.
Well, yes, agree to that. Pero yun nga, napag-usapan ng mag-asawa na you can be adventurous, but still maintain the respect. So kung ayaw ng asawa mo, wag mo na palang pilitin kasi baka hindi siya comfortable. Kasi sa pag-counsel natin ng mga couples, diba, merong mga wives na parang they just do it pala out of pleasing their husband or their spouse, pero hindi na pala sila komportable. So this is also a good reminder for all married couples na kahit asawa mo na, hindi mo pa rin pag-aari ang katawan ng asawa mo.
And ito, ang maganda binibigay ng Dr. Rica here is love, sex, may respect pa rin talaga siya.
And open communication. So bago pag-awayan, pag-usapan niya na kung paano yung before, during, at yung after. Yung take away ko kay Dr.
Masaya yung after eh. Kasi para silang...
May energy pa ba sila after?
Hindi, kasi it will level up the next sex nila, di ba? Uy, next, ito naman. Uy, gusto ko to. Uulitin ngayon nung husband o ni wife yun, di ba? Pero, consent.
So, pag-usapan niyo na after watching this video.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for that, Dr.
Parents don't need to have sex anymore because we're busy. Totoo ba? Oh no! That's one of the biggest misconceptions about relationships and sex. A lot of couples think that they don't need to have sex anymore. They deprioritize sex because they have more responsibilities and, other things to think about. But did you know, my dear parents, that the top 2 reasons why marriages dissolve or why people separate is sex and money? So sex is up there. We need to constantly tell our partners or let our partners feel that we love them, we desire them, we want them. And how do we do that? It's through sex. Okay? Again, like what I said, sex can mean a lot of things, but we need to be consciously intimate with our partners so they would feel loved. Hindi dahil magulang na kayo ay hindi nyo na kailangan mag-sex. Sex is not just about for procreation. Sex is also for pleasure and connection and intimacy. So please, if you're not having sex, please talk to your partner about it and then try to start somewhere. Alright?
We're busy. We're busy having sex.
Actually, gusto sabihin, noted po, Doktora. Kasi totoo naman mga mommies, na po baka mag-agree kayo sa akin na pag meron ka ng anak, iba na talaga yung nagiging level of priority natin, di ba? So, medyo guilty ako kay Doktora. Doktora, sorry. Sabi ni Doktora, you have to prioritize daw. Start somewhere. And yun nga, hindi ko porket pala na, yun pala yun, hindi ko porket magulang na tayo. It's just really about procreation. Kasi pwede pala for pleasure, pwede pala connection, which is very important.
Powerful connection and sex.
At nakakatakot pala yung sinabi ni Doktora. So, top 2 reasons kung bakit nadidissolve ang marriage is
sex and money.
So, pwede magkaroon ka ng maraming money, magkaroon ka ng maraming sex. Ano masasabi mo bilang husband?
Hindi kasi, usually, di ba, yung the emotional needs, sinasabi nila na, most especially men, top nila ang sex. But to other women, top din yun. But not because hindi mo siya top, na wala ng sex yung married life nyo. There are couples having sexless marriage kasi nga dami ng ginagawa, may responsibilities. Pwede naman, kaya naman. Pero iba pa rin. Tama mo, pagka nakapag-sex sila, ibang-iba pagkatapos.
Ang haba ng hair, nag-glow tayo.
Oo, talagang blondie yung buhok pagkatapos. Diba? Laki ng katawan talaga ng guy. Iba talaga ang effect pa rin ng sex sa marriage, sa mag-partner. Kasi nga, it's connection. It's building the relationship between you and your spouse. So, kahit busy, kung kaya mo mag-make time for business, kaya mo mag-make time for career, kaya mo mag-make time for food, make time for sex.
Kaya nga sabi din nila, di ba, na before being parents, your first husband and wife. So, kailangan i-prioritize din si husband
Maganda
at si
siya,
wife.
maganda rin siya kung yung may kasi iba asawa na hindi problema to eh. Kahit busy kami, gabi-gabi ginagawa namin to.
Ay, sana all.
Pero kung yung iba naman na hindi nagagawang ganun, you can schedule it, di ba? Tapos the intimacy starts Monday pa lang before the Friday. Kung Friday schedule mo, Monday pa lang, Friday meron tayong sexy time.
Kaya sabi ni Doktora, start somewhere.
It's a beautiful reminder. It's really a beautiful reminder for couples to still have that beautiful sex in your married life. So that's it for our video.
And if you have more questions to our board of experts, type nyo na sa comment section.
And don't forget to like and subscribe to Smart Parenting YouTube channel.
Bye!